Needless to say, this is a video and topic I have been hesitant to dive into for quite some time, and for many reasons, but I do think it's finally time we sit down and talk about the game Destiny, a game that is near and dear to my heart. What's going on, everyone? It's Rody, and welcome back to the channel. Now, it's no surprise to anyone that this is a game I feel very strongly about and enjoy very much. But like any game, it definitely has its issues. And it seems that over the past couple of years, more and more problems have been showing up. Now, I don't want this video to be viewed as a bash on Bungie, because it is not. But instead, I want to focus on the truth. That means I will be saying things you may or may not agree with, and it is totally okay. But that doesn't mean there isn't any truth to it. Most of what I'm going to discuss is coming from the recent State of the Game article that I will link down in the description. And it was just released, I want to say, a little over a week ago. But also talk about just some general pain points, not just from me, but the community as a whole. Let's rip the band-aid off right away and jump into a topic that has been a pain point for many years: Crucible. If you play the game at all, it is very apparent that Crucible is a back burner project to the rest of the game, in the same sense that PvP always seems to come after PvE. And like it or not, that won't ever change, and Bungie has basically come out and said that. They said that they just simply don't have the resources to produce extra maps and all these things that the PvP community is asking for, simply because majority of the team works on the next raid or the next seasonal activity, what have you. You see where I'm going with this. It's been said before, by not just me, but by many players alike, that Destiny is a PvE game with a PvP game mode. And like it or not, that is the truth. Now, don't get me wrong here. Does the community deserve more than what they are currently getting? Absolutely. But at the same time, you need to manage your expectations with what you already know. And that is what I just said, is that it is a game mode in a game that is not based around that game mode. Bungie has come and said that not only do they not have the resources to make changes to Crucible, like I already said, but they don't have the time or resources to make things like new weapons or armor sets for every vendor, and that goes for Vanguard and Gambit alike. Now again, I hear you loud and clear. You guys who do only play PvP deserve more than what you are getting. No one is denying that fact, and if they are, they just don't care. But I think it's time you lower your expectations, as much as that might pain you to do, and as much as it might even pain me to say. This is one of those there is no right answer moments, because we agree you deserve more, but when you do get more, you complain it is not enough, which just seems totally unreasonable. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's just the PvP community that does this. It's the game as a whole. Now, have there been times where we're like, this is fantastic, this is exactly what we wanted? Of course. But it seems like those moments get overshadowed by all the negative ones. And whether that's for a good reason or not, it is what happens. The next topic I want to touch upon is Gambit. Just because this did get brought up in the article, but it's not really something I want to dwell on, as it doesn't seem as important. It's not a surprise to anyone that Gambit is a bit of to be desired game mode. That's not to say it doesn't have its own player base, because it certainly does. But Bungie has essentially gone on the record saying, we don't know what else to do with this. They said that there will be no more big updates to the mode as we know it for the foreseeable future, and the next thing we will see is a returning map, which is that Dreaming City map. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. and an addition of new enemy types, which I believe they said is just Loose and Hive. Which, while nice, doesn't really change anything about the mode as a whole. Me, myself, I picked up on this a while ago when they started to really write Drifter into the storyline more and more. That signaled to me the we don't know what to do with this character issue. The storylines he has been in are awesome, don't get me wrong, and they are certainly fun. He is a character that I have enjoyed learning about and also acts as a bit of a comic relief. But you don't see someone like Lord Shaxx making appearances in the seasonal content like Drifter. He may show up here or there to weigh in an opinion, but that is really it. It's sad to see the game mode be tossed aside after so many years, and I do hope that at some point they can do something to revitalize it, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm going to be taking a point from Astacross's video that he made a little bit ago and say that Destiny is free to try, not free to play, and I totally agree with this statement. I think the way he worded that speaks for itself, and again, I do totally agree with that. Now, this is not to say you don't get enough content to develop an opinion on the game, because there is still a lot of content to be played with the free version, quote-unquote free. But once you do the raid, Vault the Glass, that comes with it, and do the activities that you're allowed to do, which is, to be honest, I don't even know. I think it's the Dares of Eternity, which is the 30th anniversary stuff. I believe that's the free-to-play stuff now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have not personally done the free-to-play stuff. But once you do the activities that you are allowed to do, you are stuck in the situation of, do I spend all this money, which can be in the hundreds of dollars at this point in the game's life, to even be able to do the stuff you want to do? Again, to quote Cross, he brought up that you can't even buy the exact amount of silver or in-game currency you would need to buy things. It's either you are buying too much silver or not enough. And I think we all see how that is a problem. For a player who just got into the game, did the free-to-play content, and likes it, the next steps can be some of the most daunting things, because you are again met with this paywall of, if you want this, it's this price, or if you want this, it's this price. And then even worse, if they do buy all of this content, it can be insanely overwhelming to have all of this stuff available and not know what order to do it in, or where to even start, which can be a major deterrent. Now obviously, for someone like me, who has been playing this game since its beginning, I do not have these issues, as I'm sure others don't, but I have been in that situation with other games, where I was just completely turned off because there was no way I could catch up. The only thing that makes me upset with this game is that people make it sound like Bungie is making them buy things, when that is just not the case at all. To me, this is just the I came this far, why stop now situation, where people think might as well stick it out for one more expansion, but complain it's $70. And to that I say, get over yourself. I will be the first to admit that some of the work has not been worth $70, and I will not try to justify that. But at the same time, if you have the ability to stop playing this game whenever you want, but just feel so invested that you buy it anyway, then that is no one else's issue but yours. With things like YouTube and Twitch, you can watch whatever you miss, so I don't want to hear this, well, how will I know what happens bullshit. I did it with Call of Duty Cold War, for example, where I never bought the game, but still was curious on what was happening in zombies or the campaign or new guns that released. So I went on YouTube or a live stream and I watched it. The constant, I can't believe I'm paying this amount for this conversation is getting insanely old and annoying to hear, when the majority of the time it's everyone's fear of missing out getting the best of them. And I get it. The way Destiny's structure is if you buy the deluxe edition, you get all 4 seasons anyway. So to that, I understand it's a little bit of a weird thing where if you stop playing, you're not playing the content you paid for. But in the sense of like Lightfall, for example, if you weren't satisfied with the Witch Queen, or you're not satisfied with Lightfall and don't want to buy the final shape, no one is twisting your arm to do that. So that is the point I am making. Again, this is not to say that some of the gripes people have are totally unjustified. Like, there is no reason they make these statements. They don't have resources for armor sets, but I'm sure they will have some in the Eververse store. I am not even going to dive into the Eververse store because I feel that could be its own rant on its own. But every game has a cosmetic system, so we can't sit here and act like it's just Bungie in that regard because it's not. But it certainly has its own issues. The last problem I see is the community itself. And I'm not the only one who sees this. People have often said that the community will ultimately be the downfall of this game, and I feel as time passes that becomes more and more true. Circle back to the new player experience for a minute, where someone is taking the time to learn the game, but when it comes time to do a raid, or a Grandmaster Nightfall, or Trials, what have you, they are met with this hostility of LFG, or just any group finding source in general, whatever you use. Now, obviously, I'm not speaking for everyone here, but the amount of must have this amount of clears, not teaching mechanics, must be this rank, like, I get it. But what are you ultimately doing other than deterring the people we are supposed to be helping keep this game alive? I am the kind of person, I will teach you anything and everything you want to know, as long as you meet me in the middle and hold up your end, which is not a hard ask for most people. Every platform has a form of chat now. If you don't want to use a microphone or you don't have one, I understand. But there is text chat. So if you tell me, hey, I need to type, I'm on Xbox, it might take me a second, we can wait the extra 5 minutes between encounters if you have questions. I do not care, because you are showing me the effort. But if you're not going to do that, then I am also not going to waste my time. But I'm not just going to drop it. But I feel like most of the people who are doing this stuff, based on experience from what I see, it's the other side of it, where they just don't even want to put in the effort. Because they just think they're going to be met with those people who don't want to try, when that's just simply not the case. Now, what really makes me mad is you see these elitist posts, and then you do join, they either have no idea what to do themselves, or they just want to add clear, which means one of the two things either is they don't know what to do and don't want to admit to it, or they think they've earned the right to just do the easy job because they are better at the game in some way. The self-entitlement in this community is some of the worst I have ever seen. In all my 10 years of playing Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, because yes, the game or franchise as a whole is going on 10 years, I have never stopped someone from playing with me because they didn't know how to do something. But I have not played with people because they lied to me about it. To some, that may seem extreme, but how are we ever going to fix this problem without doing something about it? I want this game to succeed. I want this game to thrive as I know it should. But between Bungie not holding up their end of things and us as a community not holding up ours, I simply don't see how that's possible. Something needs to change. It's not my job to determine what, but I can tell you right now, we are not helping. As much as we may want to complain, as much as we may want to point out what Bungie is doing wrong, how can we possibly as a community turn our heads to what we are doing? And again, this is not towards everyone. I understand there are those people who are only there to help. And to you guys, I give you all the credit in the world because you are the side that is keeping this game alive. But to the other part of that community, either quit now or shut the hell up. Because not only am I sick of it, so is everyone else who is actually trying. I feel like I said what I wanted to say. I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys do know where I'm coming from with this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know your opinion on this. Let me know if you've had a similar experience with other games. Believe me, I understand Destiny's not the only one with these kind of problems. And it's not going to be the last game with these kind of problems. But, again, something needs to change. It's been Rody, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.